Welcome to a special edition of the Manitoba Wrestling Network here on WCGtv. I am RJ Lilly, the leader of the Whaler Pod, and alongside me, my regular co-host, Steely Dan Howerluck. We are doing something a little bit special today.
Very special. And I'll say there was a CWE show here in Brandon, and it was a hell of a show.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the top shows that they've done here in the Wheat City. And the tour continues. It is the 9th anniversary tour, and we are celebrating 9 years of Canadian wrestling's elite. And so who better to bring on the show than the most decorated wrestler in CWE history, the 3-time CWE champion, Hotshot Danny Duggan. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And also, we have the headliner of the tour for the 9 damn years tour, WWE Hall of Famer, Farouk Ron Simmons.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on the show, sir.
Glad to be here, man. Glad to be. Thanks for having me.
Now, Danny has brought a lot of people to Brandon, to Westman, but I can honestly say I don't think he has brought anybody more personable than you. You've been making it seemingly your goal to go and talk to as many fans as you can.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Just like Danny and I was talking about off camera, right? You know, this is really special for me. You know, I take a lot of pride in it. You know, I'm an old school guy, and I believe the only way for this business to continue to strive is the way it's done traditionally. I've seen the guys come before me do the same thing that I have an opportunity to do now. That's to say thank you to the people before I'm really done and going out into real life, so to speak, you know. So this means a lot to me.
And I will say, like, as a fan who's watched you ever since I can remember, right up until these days, it is so awesome to have someone with an attitude like that and someone who has been one of my wrestling heroes, such as yourself growing up.
Well, see, those are the things that I'm speaking of, you know. Mm-hmm. See, when people come up to me now, you know, plus, and look, there's been so many years, I don't even know how long I've been in this, okay? Right, but when they come up to me and they've grown up watching me, and they got photos, man, when they were like 9 and 10, and now they're parents, you know, themselves. Now that tells you how old I am, right? Right. So, and then for them to come up and see someone that they've idolized and had adoration for, right?
Heck yeah.
And then for me to have any other attitude other than saying, hey, thank you to them, brother, that's a big letdown for them. So, you know, hey, I don't want it to be that way for them to have that kind of memory of me and of this business.
And that's why we love you, man.
Hey, thank you.
You talk about being traditional. CWE's now going the old school route of touring town to town. We're talking now 25 days, 25 shows, no break. Still enjoying it?
I'm still having a blast, and it's just getting bigger from here. We're finalizing our next tour, which is currently sitting at 29 dates. So this thing is getting bigger and better as we go, and Canadian wrestling's never been hotter.
We're talking a full month now. For you, Ron, you're going to be on, I think, 20 of the shows now, nonstop. When's the last time you toured that many dates in a row?
Well, you know what? And then actually, it's been a while since I've done it. What I did it a lot, not only, you know, from earlier days, it was a regular thing. Okay, there was house show, and it was nothing. You know, it was a tour every day because sometimes we had double shots. Okay, right. But now, as it is now, you know, and then I traveled abroad, Japan, Germany, doing that. So it's just, and the best thing about this is that it's good for the kid to come in to see what it was done like back, you know, other than considering a tour. Hey, this is what it should be like, if you ask me, going to town, because a lot of those people don't have the opportunity to come to the bigger shows. So this is a big plus for them, for Danny and the organization to bring it to them. You know, that's a big deal, man, and it means a lot to the people, you know.
I will say this, just working a few shows here and there, I get to see just how hard the guys work in the ring. Like we talked about, the Brandon show is just absolutely incredible. It was one of the best shows I think I've seen, CWE or otherwise. I thought it was a very well done show. But behind the scenes, I mean, how much are you involved in helping the guys and giving mentorship?
As much as possible, as much as they want, you know, not being overbearing if I'm there, you know, because it was done for me. You know, and without that help from the guys, you know, and in this case, some of the women that helped me also, Fabulous Moolah, all of them, you know, with advice when I was younger coming along. Without that aid and without all of the small things that go into making you good at what we want to do, right? I couldn't have got this far. So, you know, if they want it, I'm there for it, you know, so in any way that I can help.
And that's one of the great things we like about having Ron on tour is you can see him every night sitting at the curtain watching each match. So not only is it a benefit from a promotional standpoint to have someone of his status on the marquee headlining these events, but for our talent to have the opportunity to pick the brain of someone who's been to the dance for as long as he has and be able to give that feedback is only going to get guys better, because you're only going to get better learning from the ones that have been there, and that's exactly what Ron's been doing for everybody.
How does it feel as a promoter as well to be able to bring in somebody like Ron Simmons? Because Canadian wrestling's elite now is at the point where I think you could bring in anybody you wanted to. And so to get somebody like Ron Simmons...
I remember I've reached out to Ron a few times before that. He's like, I don't know if I want to come on the road. So it took a couple attempts and a couple tries, and he finally said yes to come up here, and I'm really glad he did because, from myself all the way down to, everybody else on the crew, he's just been an absolute pleasure and just a true professional. And it's kind of funny the way that works in the business because he's got the reputation of being one of the toughest men to ever step in the ring, and usually those are the most humble and the nicest men behind the scenes, and that's exactly what we got with Ron.
So storyline-wise, in Canadian wrestling's elite in the last little bit, we actually had to bar the door shut because the Canadian crusher AJ Sanchez is around the building here. He has been causing a lot of issues with the Boston Bruiser, Kevin O'Doyle. And so there had been a few comments about, hey, why don't you bring in some extra help? Was that part of the reason why you brought a guy like Ron Simmons, member of the APA, the protection to sort of make sure that you can have these matches without a lot of interference like that?
I'm a firm believer if I get in the ring with anybody one-on-one, I can get the job done and beat them. But as is the case with the Cannon Clan in the past and now with AJ Sanchez and Kevin O'Doyle, it's never one-on-one. So sometimes you need to even the odds to get that one-on-one opportunity, and that's exactly what we did last night. Kevin O'Doyle got his hands on me a little bit, but not for too long before Ron took care of business, and that's exactly what I needed and as long as I needed to finish the job.
And it must feel kind of good being back in that enforcer role too a bit.
Oh, well, yeah, and then now listen, AJ's done his homework now. Don't get it wrong, okay? He knows that, hey, during the APA days, we were quite fond of being paid off. Mm-hmm. All right, so he's trying to go that route too, But
I remember from the show last night.
But the thing of it, it's a bit tempting now, I got to tell you, Dan. It's a little tempting, but he just hadn't gotten the amount up.
I figured it seemed a little skimpy last night. I didn't want to comment too much.
Yeah, $20 wouldn't have brother. I wouldn't have sat at a bar with $20 right? That he tried to tempt me with.
20 Canadian on top of it.
At that, right? Right. That wouldn't have started me even at the bar. So maybe maybe if he jacked it up, I don't know what'll happen. We'll see. All
right, we're going to take a quick little break here. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Cannon Clan. We're going to be talking about CWE's return to Virden, Manitoba, Tuesday, May 29th, because, well, Ron's going to have his hands full on that night. We'll be right back. It's more Manitoba Wrestling Network right here on WCGtv.
Coach Brent here, Anytime Fitness Brandon. And today I wanted to give you 3 quick and easy nutrition tips to help you reach your weight loss goals in 2018. Tip number 1, eat slowly. You see, it takes about 20 minutes for our gut to send a message to our brain that we're full. And in that 20 minutes, you can do a lot of overeating. So when you sit down to eat, don't have any distractions. Don't watch TV, don't play your cell phone. Savor your food and eat slowly. Tip number 2, try eating from a smaller plate. Eating from a smaller plate is really helpful in controlling portion size. It also prevents us from wasting a lot of food and gives you the illusion of eating a lot, which can really help mentally when you're dieting. And tip number 3, eat with your hands. Not your fingers, your hands. When you're doing your macronutrient split on your plate, use your hands to figure out what portion and what you should eat. The palm of your hand is your lean protein. Your whole hand open, that's your vegetables. Your cupped hand is your complex carbs, and your thumb is your healthy fats. So take those 3 tips and drink at least 3 liters of clean water a day, and you'll come a lot closer to reaching your goals this year than you have before.
Welcome back to the Manitoba Wrestling Network here on WCGtv. I'm RJ Lilly alongside Steely Dan Howerluck, and we have two huge names in the wrestling business. We got Hotshot Danny Duggan, the three-time CWE champion, and WWE Hall of Famer Ron Simmons. We're talking a little bit about Verdun now because it's going to be a huge show at the Verdun Collegiate on Tuesday, May 29th. You're bringing a stacked card again to Verdun, but I do have to talk about the tag team titles being on the line because there's a lot of excitement here. You have the Rebel Bobby Collins, who I think has held the tag team title for
as long as I've been
600 of the last 650 days. It's just an unbelievable number. He's teaming with the crazed cowboy Jacob Creed, and they're taking on Jack Jesus, Tommy Lee Curtis, and my old nemesis, Mr. Beefy Goodness, Vance Nevada.
Yeah, it's a big match, not only in terms of the tag team titles being on the line, but it's Vance Nevada's first match back, and I want to say 5 years.
It is 5 years.
Yeah, it was thought for a long time that his career was done after having that neck surgery, but he's powered through. He's been training really hard, and he's ready to go. So he's back in the saddle, and he's back in his hometown, in his home area of Westman, Manitoba, and he's looking to capture some gold to kick it off right.
Usually, when you take a break of 5 years, you build up your competition. The last time Vance Nevada was in the ring, he was teaming up with Short Sleeve Samson. He took on Prince Akeem, who was known as Mike Hammer at the time, and some other radio guy. I don't know who it was. It didn't go very well for him. And let's just say Vance didn't exactly have the toughest night. But when you're stepping into the ring with not just, you have Tommy Lee Curtis as a tag team partner, it doesn't get much better than that. But when you're looking on the other side, the Cannon Clan, you've seen it yourself on this tour already. They don't just come down by themselves. There's always an entourage.
There's always an entourage. There's always foreign objects, as they say in the professional wrestling world. You never know what to expect with the Cannon Clan. But Vance Nevada's been around 25 years, so he knows every trick of the trade as well. So I think he's won his fair share of titles with some dirty tactics over the years, so he's no stranger to that warfare whatsoever.
Now, Ron, I know you're not involved in every match in the card, but you have been watching every match in the card. Are you going to be keeping your eyes peeled, not necessarily just for Verdun, but maybe like Dauphin later today? As we're recording this, you're going to be heading out to Dauphin.
Oh, yeah. Listen, man, by all means, but understand this, though. I understand. See, that's what makes it a little bit more easier for me to spot what might take place or come, to predict what's to come, right? If you recall me, having gone back, some of my best matches and stuff have been a little sketchy, I might add, back in the past, okay? And if you recall, I did have a hook to where I said, by any means necessary, okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm in it. All right, so I understand that part. So it makes it a little easier for me to predict what's to come. So in the role that I'll be playing, maybe I can thwart some of that, what's going to happen, So we'll level the playing field.
You've been on the tour already now 4 nights. I think tonight will be the 5th night. Who has jumped out to you as a real future name?
Well, first of all, listen, I got to say this, though. It's a really, I've been very impressed with the group of guys, all right? Absolutely, and I sincerely mean that. And hey, although he's trying to pay me off, right, I got to give a thumbs up to AJ. Listen, for a big guy, and I've told him this, I'm very impressed with the way he moves, right, and with them understanding knowledge of the ring. See, and that means a lot in his matches, although some of his tactics now I don't agree with. So, right, I'm going to put that out there, too, so I might have to, show him what's up at some point, right? But for the most part, all the guys, man, all the guys and girls, very impressive, And I like the style that they go back to, and it's a big plus, and that speaks a lot of Danny, understanding his business, the traditional style, letting the people be involved in the show, in the matches, because they want to be part of the show, And that's what it's about, It means a lot to the fans.
Now, that being said, if there was one guy in the CWE that would convince you to lace up the boots and jump back in there, who do you think it'd be?
Oh man, it's a few of them,
Right.
Right. Yeah, and I really couldn't just say one. I think I'd probably just start at the card and go all the way, work with all of them, because they're just that good, and that speaks highly for the women also.
Oh heck yeah.
Okay. Right. Although myself, I've never been in a mixed tag, right? Right, because during that time, I don't know with me, at that point, during that time would have been too much acceptance with it then, right? But now, it's just being that it's more open now, right? And that speaks, like I said, about the entire crew, So I couldn't start with one, I'd have to be all of them work well,
Awesome.
I do want to get a prediction from you. I won't ask you now. I'll give you a little bit of a heads up. June 1st in Winnipeg. CWE returns to Winnipeg. It's going to be the 9th anniversary show and the big main event, triple threat for the CWE championship. The Canadian Hercules Tyler Colton defends his title against the 3-time champion hotshot Danny Duggan, and also the man we were just giving some kudos to, the 2018 King of Transcona and the first ever CWE champion, the Canadian Crusher AJ Sanchez. At the end of the show, I want to know who you think is going to win the match between Tyler Colton, Danny Duggan, and AJ Sanchez. I'm looking forward to hearing that answer. We're going to take just a quick little break here before we come back.
You got a coin?
What's that?
Do you have a coin?
Not a 3-sided one. That's why I'm happy it's a triple threat. So we can't just leave it to luck there. But we'll take a quick break. When we come back, more Manitoba Wrestling Network right here on WCGtv.
Hello, my name is Marissa Barteau. I am a personal trainer at Anytime Fitness in Brandon, Manitoba. Today I want to take a moment to discuss women's health and exercise. Exercise can help get rid of adult acne as it helps correct hormone imbalances. It also improves blood flow to the scalp, keeping your hair stronger and healthier. Exercising at least 3 times a week can significantly decrease signs of aging. It also is excellent for reducing cellulite. Yoga is the most beneficial for this. Cellulite is a symptom of reduced lymph circulation. Yoga helps lymph move more freely in the fatty areas, flushing toxins and reducing cellulite. Exercise promotes healthy circulation, which will help keep your skin healthy and vibrant. Regular exercise increases your mood as well as your libido. It improves your body image and increases your stamina. Come to Anytime Fitness today and start feeling better. Thank you for watching. This is Marissa Barteau from Anytime Fitness.
Very quick seconds. We're back here on the Manitoba Wrestling Network here on WCGtv with 2 special guests. Hotshot Danny Duggan, WWE Hall of Famer Ron Simmons, and we have told Ron we need his prediction for the triple threat main event that's going to be happening in Winnipeg on June 1st for the CWE Championship. Tyler Colton, the Canadian Hercules, putting the belt on the line against both the Canadian Crusher AJ Sanchez and Hotshot Danny Duggan, but we'll give you a little bit of time on that one.
There's no time needed. He doesn't need to give a prediction because I can tell you right now who's walking out with that championship, and he's sitting in this chair.
Oh.
So we can avoid that whole process right now because you're looking at the next CWE champion.
The 4-time CWE
Yes,
champion
sir.
that could happen. How many times did you win the Rumble to Remember, by the way?
Twice.
Twice.
Yes. So this last time, which was controversial, and that's why we're in this 3-way match right now. So it wasn't a clear-cut win, but we're going to clear-cut win that championship on June 1st in Winnipeg. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, for anyone looking for the backstory on the Rumble to Remember, the 50-man Rumble to Remember. People talk about the greatest Royal Rumble. CWE has been doing that for years.
They did it first.
And we had a very controversial ending where you and the Bullet Club's Chase Owens were left standing in the ring, but AJ Sanchez, the Canadian Crusher, came down and said he was never eliminated. And I'm pretty sure I did see him go through the ropes. But again, referee's call is the referee's call. Tyler Colton came out and said, I will take on all of those men. So I know Chase Owens will not be on this tour. I think maybe he'll be getting his shot at a later date. But the 3 of you are going to be stepping foot in that ring. It's going to be an epic matchup. Can't wait. Mr. Simmons, who do you got?
Listen, look, I don't think you need my answer now. Dennis already gave it to you. Okay? Look, and I'm almost sure, that's the way you got to go into this, with that same mindset. But as Danny can tell you, look, all the guys he's up against, brother, anything can happen. You just said that he's already said that they're coming into it with the mindset, hey, they don't care what it takes in order to win, and he already knows that. So he's got to be on his P's and Q's, watching out for everything, But I'm pretty sure, look, he's already know his game plan is already in set. So I think Danny's ready for him.
And it's a big match. I'm looking forward to it. And, AJ Sanchez and myself have a very storied history in CWE's 9 years, and it's an interesting story for Tyler Colton as well. He was in the front row of the very first CWE show as a fan and trained with our wrestling school, went through the process, graduated, and now is the front man of the company. So he's got a very unique story, and I've got a lot of respect for what he's done and where he's gotten himself. So I'm looking forward to putting that to the test. But I know AJ Sanchez feels the same way as I do. I'm not ready to pass the torch, so to speak, to that next generation, because I am the current generation and we're still rocking stronger than ever. So we're going to be going into that thing and looking to keep this company going for a lot longer with me at the front.
I do have to ask you, though, when you have two opponents like that, Tyler Colton, who inspired by watching Mentolo and Daniel Bryan in the first ever main event for CWE, to becoming the blue-eyed idol, to winning the Rumble to remember and becoming the champion, defeating a guy that in Adam Knight that even yourself, you were not able to beat at that moment in time. Tyler Colton was able to powerbomb him and beat him. Looking at that as one opponent, and then you also have a guy in AJ Sanchez who is on fire, winning the King of Transcona crown this year and has just been blowing people away. You listen to any wrestling podcast out of the province right now, and people are saying he's better than he's ever been. So you have the mindset of being confident, obviously, but is there any concern with maybe some of the injuries that you've had lately that a guy like Tyler Colton or AJ Sanchez?
There was a lot of self-doubt before the Rumble to remember. I was going through the torn pectoral muscle, the torn bicep, and it'd been a while since I've been on top, and getting beaten up from the grind that we've been doing was starting to wear me down, and I was starting to have those questions, can I be the guy? But now that I'm healthy, now that I'm back at 100%, as good as AJ is and as good as Tyler is, I'm still the most traveled wrestler in this country. I'm still wrestling across the world every week when I'm not here in CWE. Hotshot Danny Duggan is the best he's ever been, and he's going to be the CW champion and prove it.
You got my vote.
All right, there you go. So it's all. I'm not gonna make a prediction. I'm not going to do it. But if I had to, Tyler Colton has been picking up titles all over North America.
That is true. And he had a heck of a title defense last night as well.
He certainly did. Getting a guy like Franco Varga up in the air. If you haven't seen Franco Varga, he is a big dude. And he was able to powerbomb him. So I'm
pretty sure the whole ring shifted on that powerbomb. Heck of a match.
Yeah, it was a very good match. And so we're looking ahead to the big June 1st show as well. The most controversial issue in CWE right now, I think, has got to be the Cannon Clan and the Confederate Flag. You got to see it at the Legends of Wrestling convention where they're putting it on the line. They're literally putting the flag on the line, where it's the Cannon Clan taking on the team of the fabulous Creebird, Kevy Chevy. You've got Dragneel, and you've got Mr. Incredible, the former Fully Loaded Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. If they win, the flag's gone.
Well, listen, man. First, let's just do a little brief history of this flag, okay? Now, I'm not sure about the profound meaning here in Canada, but listen, where I'm from, that flag carries a lot of weight to a lot of people, okay? In a lot of historic ways that is not very meaningful to me as a black man, first of all, okay? And secondly, to a lot of people, period. And that being said, a lot of whites, all right? But having said that, okay, here's a chance and opportunity to change the meaning of that, okay? And in some ways to erase some of that, all right? And that's what the mindset of this is, all right? More than anything, out of this wrestling match, all right? That's what's hoped to accomplish out of this, all right? It's to probably in some way just take this meaning of it down. All right, and hopefully during this process that it will catch on fire and just slowly erase all of that history of it. You know, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, we're not talking metaphorically. If
this is a big deal, bro.
It's literally going up in smoke.
No, this is a real big deal here. Okay, so that flag, you understand me, man, carries a lot of weight back home. Okay, not in that right direction. Okay, so it don't stand for some of the things that I particularly am against, all right? So this is going to have a really, really profound meaning for me. You know?
All right, Dan, I do want to ask you here, we're going to get a few final comments here from everybody. Seeing the Brandon show last night, of all the newcomers, who really caught your eye as somebody to watch in the future?
I'd say Scarlett Black. She held herself really well in the intergender tag team, and I would say definitely keep your eye on her because she's going places. She put on a hell of a show last night.
Yeah, certainly, and she's going to be heading to Dauphin tonight. The Queen of the Okanagan will be taking on Madison Miles, and I think this is going to be a first-time matchup on the tour for that, so make sure you check that out. And you can always check out CWEcanada.com Canada on Facebook to find out more information. Danny Duggan, you have seen so many people on these tours over the last couple of years. Who on this tour is really jumping out as a future star?
It's a really exciting time because with these tours getting bigger and better, there's wrestlers coming from all over the world to be a part of these tours. And one guy who's been with us for about a year now is really starting to take a shine is Roy Flash Gordon, as seen in the main event last night with Menslow. To get in the ring with an international star of 20 plus years and go toe-to-toe with him the way he did and the way he has with Chase Owens in recent months. I think Roy Gordon's going to be a big future player in Canadian wrestling's elite, and I think this tour is going to define that for him if he keeps it up on the way he's going. And as the tour progresses, starting tonight in Dauphin, we've got the 6'10" giant from England, Charlie Winston, debuting with Canadian wrestling's elite. So I imagine just based on his sheer size alone, he's going to be a major threat to the roster right out the gate. As we roll through Alberta and come back through Westman, we've got the 275-pound military veteran Marcellus Prime joining the tour, who I think is going to be an instant player in the heavyweight division. So there's a lot of new faces coming to Canadian wrestling's elite right now, and I think it's going to be more competitive than ever.
Yeah, you're celebrating 9 years of Canadian wrestling's elite, and I agree with you. I think it's better than it's ever been. And if we're talking about Verdun, we did mention the tag team titles are going to be on the line. I asked Ron for a prediction. I have to do the same for you, Hotshot Danny Duggan. Who do you think will walk out the CWE Tag Team Champions on Tuesday, May 29th? Will it be the Rebel Bobby Collins and the Crazed Cowboy Jacob Creed, or will it be Jack Jesus Tommy Lee Curtis and Mr. Beefy Goodness Vance Nevada?
Well, it's a bit of a trick question because Hotshot Danny Duggan and Tyler Colton are challenging for the tag team titles tonight in Dauphin. So if things go our way, which I'm sure they're going to, we're going to be the CWE Tag Team Champions come Verdun. So that match might be flipped right around by the time we get back through Westman.
Do you have an issue stepping foot in the ring with those two then? If it is Hotshot Danny Duggan and Tyler Colton against Vance Nevada and Tommy Lee Curtis, that'd be a heck of a match too.
We like Tommy Lee Curtis, but he's annoyed us on the road for about a decade, so we'll gladly take the opportunity to punch him in the face and beat him in a wrestling match if need be.
All right, so the official prediction is, and I think I'm going to have to agree with this, the card is subject to change. We know that. Tag titles have changed hands. We saw that actually a couple tours ago with Shane Saber and Phil Atlas surprising everybody, winning the belts and going on. So yeah,
which was great.
Anything can happen in Canadian wrestling's elite. Any final words from the WWE Hall of Famer Ron Simmons?
But just speaking of title matches, you got to understand this, right? When you put it all in perspective, listen, this is what we go through in this business, right? From the start to finish, and like I am at the last part of my, in the weenie years of my career, right? From start to finish, right? You train hard, you take care of your body, you learn as much as you can, and when these times come for title shots, brother, that's what it's about. Hey, to be the best of the best. You understand me? So that means a lot. So everybody's going to bring their A game. So this is the time for everybody to say, hey, this is what all of this work that I've been putting in is for. So it has a special meaning when you get the opportunity to become champion.
Ron Simmons, Danny Duggan, thank you so much for coming on the show. Dan Howerluck, thank you for helping set this all up today. If you have tickets, great. If you don't, get them. Tuesday, May 29th, Verdun Collegiate is going to be the place to be. Whoever the CWE Tag Team Champions are, they're going to be in attendance. We know the Canadian Unified Junior Heavyweight Champion, Tony Kozina, will be in attendance. Tyler Colton, Canadian Hercules, the CWE champion, as well as the Canadian Crusher, AJ Sanchez, Hotshot Danny Duggan, and more. Make sure you are in Verdun on May 29th. Thanks for watching the Manitoba Wrestling Network here on WCGtv. We have...
And if they're not watching, and if they're not at the show, damn!
He said it best. I can't follow that.
Yeah, we're not going to try.
No.
Have a great day. We'll talk to you.